This is the Isle of Palms podcast, produced by Island Vibes, the Isle of Palms upscale monthly publication. The Isle of Palms podcast is all about the people, places, and events that make this island a slice of paradise.
Welcome back to another episode of Isle of Palms Community Podcast, presented by Island Vibes. The pride of Isle of Palms today, tomorrow, and always. I'm your host, editor Zach Giroux. Today, we're honored to have a very special guest, Isle of Palms City Council candidate, Zach Lary. And with the Isle of Palms election less than 2 months away, Zach, what motivated you to run for council?
There's people that come into this process with a specific agenda or motivated by a particular issue, and this just wasn't the case for me. Almost feels awkward to say, but it sounds artificial, but I truly saw an opportunity to add value and continue contributing to the community. It's really my primary motivation behind this, and quite frankly, everything I get involved in. I currently serve on the board of the Isle of Palms Chamber of Commerce. I'm actively involved with the Lens Foundation, and I'm just looking for ways to further give back to the community. I felt I could bring some value and a truly fresh perspective to our city council. It sounds cliche. Isle of Palms really has been a truly special part of my family's life. The island, it's not just where we live. I have real little ones, so it's where we're raising our kids. It's where we're building friendships. It's where we're really planting our roots for the long term. And I feel an obligation to contribute to Isle of Palms as much as I can. That's really the primary motivator for me.
If elected, what are your top priorities for the betterment of the island?
Quality of life is something that always has room for improvement. It's a front and center issue amongst residents. Proving it really needs to be a front and center issue for me as a resident and as a candidate. Another priority of mine is the immediate and significant need to make adjustments to the compensation of our first responders. Our police department and fire department are really facing great difficulty when it comes to recruiting and retaining qualified staff. Another priority of mine, I would say, is supporting our local island business community. Our island businesses do a tremendous job of supporting our city and community. Sometimes that support's just not reciprocal. Council, I would say, needs to collaborate a lot more with our island businesses. They have great ideas. They have ways to effectively address solutions. And I think that if there's some more effective collaboration, this can ensure both our city and the businesses have the support they need. Quite frankly, I'm confident I can make this happen. Obviously, there's the beach and the challenges we face with erosion. As someone who, quite frankly, intends to be here for quite a few decades, this is an issue I'm front and center for me. I remain heavily aware of this. What's the beach look like in 10, 20, 30 years? And it's quite frankly pretty daunting. To be honest, I don't have a cookie cutter answer to this one. It's a complex issue. What I will say is I remain open-minded to assessing all available solutions out there. I think as time goes on and advances take place in AI, science, technology, I'm pretty optimistic it'll allow us to address the issue in more effective ways as time goes on. It's imperative and our responsibility to ensure that we're doing so in a way that's conscious of the ecosystems and environment that are here on the island. These are probably my priorities, not necessarily the only things important to me. Throughout this campaign, I've had a great opportunity to connect with residents and learn what are some of the priorities for them. Things like pesticides that have certain toxins in them that are becoming knowingly harmful to children. That's a concern of mine. Even things just as simple as artificial lighting and its impacts on the environment. It's really incredible, actually, to hear the passion our residents have when it comes to the community and the ideas they have. My job at the end of the day is to listen and collaborate and really deliver solutions based upon this.
Zach, what are the most pressing issues in your mind that the island is currently facing, and how do you propose to solve them?
Let's start with the non-competitive first responder compensation. This issue, in my opinion, inhibits my ability as a husband, as a father, to feel confident that my girls are as safe as they could be in the event that something like a medical emergency or something to that effect takes place. I'm certainly not saying that I don't feel safe in Isle of Palms or that I don't feel they're safe. I think there's very significant room for improvement. And when it comes to their safety and our resident safety, we really can't do too much. We have some genuinely good people that work in those departments. They're very passionate about this community, as passionate as a lot of our residents are. Many of these officers and firefighters are just, they could quickly and easily take another role that's at a different department that's somewhere along the way home for them or on their commute to work and receive more compensation. It's a challenge that we're truly facing. It's not just one or two other municipalities. It's against most of them. We need to increase our pay scales and incentives for these officers to a level not that's equal, keeps up with the other municipalities, but we need to be ahead. These officers, due to reasons of cost of living, et cetera, have a commute to work. They're driving through 3 or 4 towns with other departments that are closer to home. They could spend less time in the car. If we're not more competitive than the surrounding municipalities and we're just trying to keep up, it's going to continue to be a challenge. So it's that simple. Yeah, I'd say when it comes to quality of life concerns, I believe the solution is more effective management of day trip visitors, especially during the peak months. Not only does it lead to significant traffic and increased litter on our beaches and upticks in noise and complaints and disturbances, but unlike families that are here for a week-long multi-day vacation, they're staying in our rentals, they're eating at the restaurants on the island, they're renting golf carts on the island, renting beach chairs. A lot of these day trippers bring their own food, their own chairs, their own things, etc., and they're just kind of coming and going and don't transact any business here on the islands. I think a common sense solution-oriented approach is really the way to address this and do 3 things. Increase quality of life for the residents, but also continue our economical prosperity that we're fortunate to have and really create a better experience for our visitors.
If you read this newspaper, you'll know everything that's going on IOP.
I think Island Vibes is going to be a game changer for Isle of Palms. It's happy, it's fun, just like our island.
Island Vibes is the deal.
You're watching the Isle of Palms podcast.
Going back to who you are as a candidate, how would you describe your style of leadership?
My leadership style is fairly collaborative. With my company, for instance, my job isn't necessarily to have every answer to every question. My job is to be able to get the answers and well-informed, important decisions. There's definitely parallels between business and city council. It's imperative I know what's important to my customers, why it's important, and be able to deliver solutions accordingly. And with council, those customers are just residents. At the end of the day, council works for the residents. In general, I look to surround myself with people that outperform me, people that I can continue to learn from. It's being able to leverage my own strengths with the strengths of others and experience of others that in my view is the most effective management approach. I've really found there's no pride in claiming to have all the answers. It just limits you. When you recognize that you don't always have all the answers and you do take a collaborative approach, you remain receptive to new information and new solutions, and it helps you reach the common goal more effectively. If I had to sum it up, I would say I have a real collaborative approach.
Wrapping things up here, ultimately, Zach, why should residents vote for you as compared to others on the ballot?
I think what sets me apart really is I truly, genuinely bring a fresh perspective. I have an open-minded approach. I have a collaborative approach, and I think residents will find me pretty approachable, in general, and I do encourage them to do so. I'm not looking to change everything that makes this island the place we call home. I really moved here for a reason. I want to protect and sustain what works here on the island and really just bring a new perspective to addressing some of these outstanding issues and challenges we face. I also feel I bring a fairly strong business background. I've been heavily involved in our island's business and nonprofit communities. I have 2 little girls and a wife at home. I certainly bring a family-friendly perspective to my thought process and decision-making here, and I feel that's quite imperative, actually, here in Isle of Palms. I really do care deeply about this island. It's where my family's growing. It's where my daughters are being raised. I want to do my part to keep Isle of Palms a special place we call home, and a place I'm proud to call my family's home.
Well, Zach, it's certainly been a pleasure speaking with you today, and certainly wish you the best of luck in the upcoming election. Before you go, just want to remind the folks that early voting begins October 20th, runs through October 31st at the Isle of Palms City Hall and IOP Rec Center from 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. And Election Day is Tuesday, November 4th. Polls open at 7 a.m. and close at 7 p.m. And for all your news on the Isle of Palms, visit readislandvibes.com. Thanks, Zach. I appreciate it.
Zach, appreciate the opportunity to speak with you.
Thank you for listening or watching the Isle of Palms podcast, produced by Island Vibes, the Isle of Palms upscale monthly publication. Find past and current episodes by visiting isleofpalmspodcast.com.